In this video, we are going to visit two neighborhoods in Lisbon that are a must-see, Alfama and Mouraria. Make sure to stick to the end, because I am going to share some tips for a more enjoyable experience. Hola! Alfama and Mouraria have several common traits, like the Moorish influence, the winding cobble streets, tiled facades, and an abundance of character, but each has their own charms too. Alfama is one of the oldest neighborhoods in Western Europe, inhabited by Celta-Iberians, Carthaginians, Romans, and Moors, to mention only a few. Once the heart of Moorish Lisbon, Alfama is now a trendy, historic neighborhood home to the Castle of St. Jorge and several lookouts offering sweeping views of the city. Mouraria is the most culturally diverse neighborhood of Lisbon. Lookouts, landmarks, and museums aren't the focus here. They are present and are just as spectacular and ancient, but this is a place to be felt more than just visited. Mouraria is considered the birthplace of Fado, and it has some of the best Fado houses in Lisbon. I have broken our walk into two segments to make it easier for you to customize. The first segment will take you from downtown Lisbon to the castle at the top of Alfama, and the second will take you from the castle down to Mouraria. Adjust to suit your time availability and preferences. And now we're ready to go. Start by making your way to the Lisbon Cathedral at the edge of the downtown area near the river. This cathedral is a very, very old building that has seen many battles and even survived the 1975 earthquake. Just about every Portuguese ruler has made alterations to this church over the ages. From the outside, it looks like a fortress with its defensive towers and battlements, but the bells and the large round window out the front give it away as a church. Inside, there are three key areas of interest. The church proper, including the site where St. Anthony, the patron saint of Lisbon, was baptized in 1195. The Gothic cloisters, an archaeological site that has revealed 3,000 plus years of history at this place. And the treasury, with an amazing collection of illuminated manuscripts, silverware, and sculptures. Please note that taking photos in the treasury is not allowed. After the cathedral, go up the street on its left and then onto Rua Limoeiro. Eventually, you will reach the Largo de Santa Luzia and the church of the same name, built in the 1600s. On the church's southern wall, the one facing the river, there are two tiled panels. One illustrates the Portuguese conquest of the city from the Moors, and the other shows downtown Lisbon before its destruction by the earthquake in 1755. Under the pergola's shade, you can admire the views of the National Pantheon and other monuments on adjacent hills. Just around the corner, you will find a nice cafe to enjoy refreshments. Next, we're on to the Castle of St. Jorge. Now, walk back to the front of the church, cross the street, and take the alleyway named Travessa de Santa Luzia. Here, even the place names evoke history. Walk across the leafy Largo do Contador Mor and choose to go along Travessa do Funil or the stairway next to it. Either one will take you to Rua Chão da Freira and onto the archway that marks the entry point to the Castle of St. Jorge. This hilltop was fortified even before the arrival of the Roman legions. In later centuries, the castle walls were strengthened by Visigoths and Moors before Portugal's first king, Afonso Henriques, seized them in 1147. You will see his statue in the square just past the main gate. Within the complex, there are a few sites you may want to visit. There is a museum and an archaeological dig site, as well as a coffee shop and a restaurant. If you want, you can take a guided tour or simply walk around the gardens, enjoy the shade and the 360 views of the city. Next, we will head down to Mouraria. There are several options to get there, but I suggest you find your way back to the archway that marks the entry point to the castle, hang a sharp right, and go down Rua Bartolomeu de Guzmão. At the bottom of the street, there's a house with tiles on its facade depicting the miracles of St. Anthony. Now, turn right into Rua do Milagre de Santo Antonio. Yeah, I know. At this stage you may be wondering, why am I rattling off so many long Portuguese street names? But in Mouraria, the streets themselves are the attraction. So, we were walking along Costa do Castelo and keeping left to turn into Calçada do Marquês de Tancos. At the end of the street, you will find the Church de São Cristóvão on the square of the same name. Across the square, you can find the stairway, Escadinhas de São Cristóvão, with a famous mural dedicated to Fado. The walk down from the castle to Martim Moniz Square takes less than 15 minutes, so if you have the time, look around, enjoy the picturesque sights, go up and down the many escadinhas and explore the area. Some buildings are adorned with tiles, whilst others display dazzling street art. As you will notice, there are many places to eat along the way, but if you want to try a Moorish restaurant, check Aziz Corner. To get there, follow Rua das Farinhas, and about half the way through, take the stairway on your left called, yep, you guessed it, Escadinhas da Rua das Farinhas. At the bottom of the stairway, you will have Aziz on your right and a quaint little square on the left called Largo dos Trigueiros. From here to Martim Moniz, just keep walking along Rua de São Lourenço and the stairway of the same name. Praça Martim Moniz is the main square of Mouraria and the terminal of the famous tram 28. The square is built where part of Lisbon's ancient city walls used to be. In fact, if you stand near the fountain, designed to represent the city walls, and look up towards the castle, you can see the remnants of the old wall. This is a favorite meeting point for locals, with many open-air cafes and bars. On weekends, the square displays Mouraria's sounds and colors from Africa and Asia at a street food market called Mercado de Fusão. And now, to our next stop, the Fado Street. From Martim Moniz, head towards the northern part of the square along the beautifully paved Rua da Mouraria and hang a left into Rua Capelão. Rua Capelão is marked with a Portuguese guitar carved on a block of marble, honoring Mouraria as the cradle of Lisbon's traditional music. Down this street is another open-air gallery celebrating Fado singers. Further along, you will find Largo da Severa, honoring Maria Severa, one of the earliest known singers of Fado. The place where she used to live is now a restaurant and a Fado house. If you are here in the evening, this may be your chance to listen to Fado closest to its birthplace. You have now traveled through hundreds, if not thousands of years of history and experienced some of the best sights Lisbon has to offer. Earlier on in this video, I mentioned I was going to share my top 3 tips to make the whole experience more enjoyable. So here we go. 1. If you get tired or it's too hot, just hop on and off public transport. There are numerous places to catch a bite to eat and have refreshments along the way, so make good and frequent use of them. 2. The neighbourhoods themselves are the main attraction. Depending on time availability, meander the narrow streets, take in the views at the lookouts, and just soak in the authentic atmosphere. 3. Download the map in the link below and use it as you walk about. With the map, you can avoid getting lost. Last but not least, the walk will take you up and down narrow cobble streets and stairways, so wear comfortable shoes and take your time. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. It really helps. I plan to make other guides for Lisbon, focusing on other parts of this beautiful city. Let me know in the comments below what other quick guides you would like to see. Obrigada!